Today, I'm going to share something that I've never shared on a public platform before. I'm going to share with you a story about my father's death. And although this is a personal story, I've learned so much over the years that I believe will help you. My hope for this episode is that what took me many years and mistakes to learn, all of which I count as blessings because of where I am today, my hope is that you will use this part of my life story to better your life story. I'll share with you a three-step framework to help you cultivate healthier relationships so that you can show up fully in your life and you can pave your way to success. And I do want you to know that some of this may spark some emotions from you, especially if you found yourself in this relating to my story. So you might have some emotions sparked, or if you're an empathetic person, you're going to possibly feel sorry for me or feel empathy for me, but know that there is joy in this story because I have been able to walk with fathers and sons and people as they repaired their relationships, all because of my story. So something that just keeps going through my head is that our deepest connections illuminate the path to our truest success. And this thought has been just on my mind as I just was jotting down notes in a timeline as I prepared for telling you this part of my story. And I'm curious, when was the last time that you reached out to someone who truly matters to you? And keep that in mind as the story that I tell you, this part of my story, which is a story of loss, but connection. And it does have an essence of success. Keep that question in mind because the fact of the matter is we were made for community and we do need relationships and we do need each other. So let me tell you about the story of me and my dad. So my earliest memories with my dad trace back to my preschool years. And if you can think about your preschool years, this is a time of innocence and wonder and for most people just bliss, right? You're in this time of life and my memories were so good of spending all this quality time with my dad. Unfortunately, by the time school started, so probably by the time I was 5 years old, starting kindergarten, my parents had parted ways. And there were some things there, some circumstances there, some of which I was a part of, some of which I could probably never comprehend, and a lot of things I probably don't know. But all that you need to know right now is that they parted ways. And this separation led to a long period where I didn't see my dad. And there was another set of circumstances surrounding why I couldn't see him. And again, some of which I probably don't know, and some of which I probably couldn't comprehend. But there are some that I do remember. This separation, this long period, what happened in this time is I can only imagine what life was like with my dad. I held on to positive fantasies about him, about who he was and what he was doing. And despite not having him there, I still had this hope that I'm going to see him again and we're just going to pick up where we left off. That hope did happen. Our paths would intersect again, but it happened to be at my grandfather's funeral. My grandfather, which was his dad, at his funeral, I was around 12 years old. So this was a span of about 6, 7 years between the last time that I really spent time with him and saw him to now, to this time that we get to see each other and spend some time. But again, bittersweet, right? Because it's at my grandfather's funeral. So a bittersweet reunion. There was sorrow there because my grandfather was a great man, but it rekindled a hope seeing my dad and being with my dad that had been waning a little bit over the years as time kept going. But we promised each other to make up for that lost time, to be intentional about our relationship. And it felt like the perfect beginning to a new chapter. But life, right? Life, as it often does, threw us a curveball. My dad missed my 13th birthday. And this was a day that we had both looked forward to. We were going to make this special. He had missed so many birthdays, and we were going to make this one special. And when he missed it, I couldn't understand. I was hurt and angry. And of course, I didn't know how to process that back at 13 years old. And in my youthful pride, I refused to see him when he did reach out from the hospital. What I didn't know was that that would be my last chance to see him because what happened was he passed away from acute leukemia shortly after. And this left this huge void that words can't really describe. So, what I did with this is I just acted like nothing happened. I didn't know how to process it. I still had that hurt from us not being able to be together for my birthday after we it was this perfect time that we were going to spend together, and then he's gone for good and I was never going to see him, and I couldn't really comprehend what that meant. This loss of my dad and me being in this time was followed by several of my friends, just right one after the other from 13 up until actually it's still happening. I had all these friends that were just passing away, and this made me build walls around my heart. I was determined not to let anyone close enough to leave me in that much grief again. My relationships, I made a lot of mistakes because I had these walls built around my heart. There was a lot of pride that I was acting from. There was I didn't really know who I was truly. And the way I handled hurt and the way I handled abandonment and all the other things you could imagine that could come along with that, I didn't know how to handle any of that. And so I made a lot of mistakes. But there was a lot of joy that happened too, because I had my first child about, she'll be 19 a week from this recording. So a week from now, she'll be 19. And that's when my those walls started coming down because now I had this life in my hands that was my responsibility, and I couldn't have walls up. I wasn't gonna be capable of having walls up because I had this life that I valued and cherished. It really opened me up to just being able to start taking those walls down and experiencing joy and building the joy of connecting with others, like truly authentically connecting and loving other people. And here's the thing about life and loss and what they teach you. They force you to see the world in ways that you never thought you would. My journey through grief and anger and isolation, this led me to understand the true value of relationships. I learned that building walls only keeps out the joy and connection that come with deep, meaningful bonds. There's so much more in the joy that you get from having those walls down than what you think you have by having the walls up or what you think you're protecting yourself from. This realization, like I said, it wasn't immediate. It took years of reflection and reflection after making mistakes and trying to figure out understanding my dad's absence and how it wasn't a choice against being with me, but it was a it was just a reminder of life's unpredictability. Life is very unpredictable. And I learned to cherish relationships, to hold them close, and to express love and appreciation openly and frequently. So, the takeaway from this, right? What can you take from this? So, what's the message here? It's that life is fleeting, it's fragile, and very important. And not just your life, but other people's lives are very important. Relationships are the bedrock of our existence, and success, in its most profound sense, is found in the connections that we nurture, the love that we share, and the impact that we have on each other's lives. Here's that three-step framework for building healthy relationships, enhancing life, and achieving success. Step one is cultivate open communication. You can do this by practicing active listening in your conversations. This means fully focusing on whoever you're talking with, trying to understand their message. And if you don't understand, ask them questions in the way that is really going to be life giving to them. Provide feedback in a way that's life giving to them. And don't start with judgment against them. Encourage open dialogue by sharing your thoughts and feelings honestly and respectfully. Open communication builds trust, which is the foundation of any strong relationship. Step two is prioritize self-reflection and growth. And how do you do this? Dedicate time each week to self-reflection. And I actually do this every single day. I do self-reflection, but I also do it after each interaction. There's a lot of interactions that happen, whether it's miscommunication or if it's something that provokes emotion. I do self-reflection so I can get to the like, where is this coming from? Or what exactly is this? Most of the time with negative emotions, but I also deal with some positive emotions. And you can ask yourself what you've learned from your interactions. What could you improve and how your actions align with your values? Consider keeping a journal to track your reflections and growth. Personal development is crucial and it's very, very crucial. And as you grow, you're better equipped to contribute positively to your relationships and navigate life's challenges. Step three is set and respect boundaries. How do you do this? Establish clear boundaries for yourself and with others. This involves, if you do the other two steps, active listening, communication, you'll be set up for this because you'll be capable of understanding. You're paving the way to understand. You open the door to understanding and communicating. When you do that, you can communicate your limits regarding your time and your energy and your emotional capacity. Respect others' boundaries as well. You may ask them, tell me your boundaries. Here are my boundaries. Tell me your boundaries. And it's important for you to know that setting boundaries is essential for maintaining healthy relationships and for your personal well-being. It allows you to show up as your best self in every aspect of your life, including your path to success. If you're inspired by my story today, and if you're eager to deepening your understanding of success for you, and you want to be in touch with me, maybe from an email, well, you can join my Unstoppable email community. There's a link below this episode in the description. That's a way for us to do community. It is through email, but it's been so powerful. I love hearing back from the Pathfinders. I call everyone who joins the Unstoppable email community, I call them Pathfinders because that's what we're doing. I give you tips every Monday, every week for you to implement into your week so that you can go and find your path and that you can go and even if you have to create new paths, that all that happens through this email. Together, we can foster connections that elevate not just us, but it elevates other people around us too. But if you're ready to explore the connections in your own life and how they relate to your path to success, maybe you relate to me. And I do want you to know that there are times where you may need counseling or you need to talk with someone that is qualified as a counselor. I have done that several times over the years, and I still believe it's super powerful today. That is necessary. If there's other things that you need someone to walk with you through some of these, not the counseling part where there's the healing and there's the unpacking and dealing with the trauma and things like that. But if you need someone to walk with you towards your vision and to be your battle buddy towards your goals and to help you find your values and to bounce your boundaries and just all the things I talked about today, if you need someone to walk with you, then consider coaching with me. Together, we can uncover the ways that you can integrate your relationships, your life and success into a fulfilling and meaningful whole, like this whole life that you'll have. Hopefully my story was helpful to you. Feel free to join my email list, reach out to me. Until next time, keep finding your path.